Welcome back to my channel, everyone, for the final part on this Longlegs review. It's been quite a long time, and pretty much lately I just haven't been in a recording mood, unfortunately, just some personal stuff going on. But I am finally going to get this out of the way so I can continue on with my future reviews that I want to do. I don't plan on doing more like part 3s like this. This was kind of just like a little experiment to see how it worked. And it's kind of doing okay, but only the first video mostly. But yeah, here this part 3 is going to sum up pretty much the Longlegs movie that I've been talking about. The last video I had a guest star here to talk about it with me, LostSamantha. If you remember those videos I did around, I guess, July, August. It's been about 2 months since part 2, unfortunately. Now getting brought to part 3. But yeah, the first part really dealt with just the type of crime investigation that the film was going into, and then the second part really dove into the Longlegs character that Nicolas Cage was portraying. And this third part that I was kind of trying to keep it a little hush-hush, or just not try to reveal too much about it during the last 2-part reviews, was how this third part went into the supernatural and voodoo. And a lot of people, I don't know if they really paid attention to that part of the film because it's very psychological, honestly. But as you're watching it, like, there's a clear weird like thing or presence really in the background, honestly, that doesn't really like reveal itself. It's just supposed to keep more just in the background, not trying to affect the main film, but it's there. Kind of like, in a way, like Final Destination, how death is just a presence. But that's not really a good, I guess, comparison in a way, just because the two different genres of horror they are. But this third part, yeah, it went into voodoo. Like, Longlegs' character in part 2, like, a very kooky, crazy character, but his whole thing, like, throughout the thing, he was a doll maker. And these dolls were essentially giant voodoo dolls of the townsfolk's like girls. And it was very interesting because I don't know really how we really explained it too much. I forgot. I should have looked into it for back in part 2. But they said that he was supposed to be some sort of magic man of sorts. But it didn't really play further past that. Just he's a doll maker, he's crazy, just the serial killer stuff. But this third part, like, it really showed a lot of stuff for this voodoo like aspect. And like with his dolls, like, he was, I guess, somehow to implement some sort of dark magic, I guess, into like the heads of the dolls, and that would somehow eventually affect the families or whoever they're based on. The things that he was able to put into the heads of dolls were like, they looked like little giant marble silver balls, but they were like hollowed in a way to, once they broke or something happened to them, it looked like some sort of curse or something expelling out of it. Like, definitely like voodoo stuff. Like, the only movie I've seen that's, I guess, the really only movie I want to see that I know, not like other witchcraft films, like there's not a lot like actual voodoo stuff that happens in witchcraft films that I've seen, at least, like just the very few in the genre. But the film called Spell, it came out within the last couple years around COVID. It's supposed to have Loretta Devine and Omari Hardwick, I believe is how you say his name. And that's the only type of film I really experienced like voodoo stuff in it, but way completely different type of voodoo for sure. Especially with how it's very subtle in Longlegs, and they very much try to keep it that way. It's very much, especially to the end, to the credits of the film, to where the ending also, I will say, just it ends after everything happens. Like, I understand, I get that type of stuff, just because you tell a story and the story is over right when something's just not able to continue. But yeah, the voodoo stuff just was very interesting, and a lot of people, I don't really think, really got that he might be just a voodoo practitioner or something, magic of sorts. But that somehow affected the whole film to where it in the end, we still don't get a clear answer on how things worked out. In the end, we just get a resolution of character deaths. At the end of part 2, spoilers now, since the film is already on DVD by the time this video drops, Longlegs smashes his head into the police table during the interrogation, and oh, what a scene that was! But and then it continued on with a weird it's not like mind control, but it's very much like a influence, I would say, that happened. We get a plot twist at the end revealing who there's a second killer in the film, and it is someone very much related closely to our main character, Michael Monroe's character. And it continues further weird, going back to like the first scene of the film, wrapping everything kind of in a bow, but not too much with how it just kind of ends the film after everything just climaxes at the end. It's just over. But yeah, the voodoo stuff very much had a lot of play into this film. I definitely need to see just the whole film all over and see how that stuff affects the other two parts, especially because we don't really get to see a lot of that voodoo aspect, because it's very much seems like a normal just crime thriller horror, but it's weird stuff. There's a devil presence, I would say, probably most likely, if it's not like a psychological thing we're seeing in the film. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on that I think the voodoo or just all the weird supernatural stuff, that there's subtle supernatural stuff affected the film. But that's all I'm really going to say on this video and for this part 3, just to sum it all up with that. I thought the film was really good, honestly. It's probably going to be in my top 10 for this year's horror. And I hope to see more from what Nicolas Cage and what these filmmakers are doing. The director, Osgood Perkins, he already is coming up with his next film, The Monkey, which is also going to be coming out from Neon with Theo James, I believe, in the starring role. So that'll be interesting to see later, I believe maybe later this year or just next year. We'll have to wait. But thank you for tuning into this video, everyone, and these reviews. Let me know what you thought of this 3 little mini series. Like I said, this was just an experimental type of way to do a movie review, but I got through it. Thank you all for also tuning into it with me on this little journey, and let me know exactly all your thoughts on this film. I'm really curious. I'm not very on to the point with the details. I kind of go back and forth a lot, and just thank you for tuning in, everyone, and catch you later.